Hey everybody, it's Kenny Cummins here, chilling with Jeff and Kenny C. Thank you for joining me and giving this podcast of listening. And I'm joined with a lovely guest at this time, singer-songwriter out of Nashville, Tennessee. Currently live in Nashville, Tennessee. Lucy Isabel is joining me right now. How's it going?
It's going well. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for being on. And well, I'll get to the questions in a bit, but first, I did get a chance to meet you a couple of weeks ago. It was Talon Winery. It was on a lovely, sunny Saturday afternoon. Bunch of mosquitoes all over the place, but
Yeah.
it was a good time, and I got a chance to hear your stuff, and I purchased the EP. Sounded very wonderful, and
Thank you.
so I'm glad I got a chance to meet you. You have been on tour for quite some time now, and we'll get to that tour updates and upcoming shows in a bit. But first, let's start from the beginning. How did you get into music?
Well, so I come from a pretty musical family. I had actually started out as an actress. I did a lot of musical theater from the time I was like 8. And then once I got through college, I had started teaching myself to play guitar and started to write a little bit of music, and I just kind of decided that I was more interested in living in Nashville than I was in living in a place where I would be able to pursue theater. So I kind of just picked up and went to Nashville and figured it out once I got there.
So, when you first moved to Nashville to really get things going with your music career, knowing that Nashville is like country music mecca of this country, I always use this saying, like, you can go to a grocery store in Nashville and run into a country singer and not even know it.
Yeah.
Is a huge pond for that genre, if you will. What was it like moving to Nashville, getting things going, and how has the city treated you as an artist and as a resident per se?
Yeah, so I was definitely a little intimidated when I moved to Nashville, not necessarily because there were so many people here also trying to pursue music, but sort of just because it was a new artistic genre for me. You know, I was very comfortable on stage as an actress, but I had never really gotten up on stage just as myself. And I never really felt like I was really in the country genre in the way that a lot of people here consider themselves. So that also made me a little bit nervous when I first started playing shows because, I would get up to play a writer's round and I would think, I don't sound anything like these other artists. Are people going to like me? And eventually I just kind of got really comfortable in my own skin and realized that, it doesn't matter if I sound like the person who's playing a song before me or the person who's playing a song after me, because it's, not my job to worry about that. It's my job to just get up there and sing the song. So I've found that I do like living in Nashville. It's a really nice thing to be in a place where there are so many people that are so interested in music. It's nice to be in kind of a like-minded environment like that. And it can definitely get a little crowded, in terms of how many other musicians there are here, but it's really such a rarity and such a great community to be a part of that it never really gets me down.
That is very true as it pertains to Nashville. With so many musicians, striving to pursue a career.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing is certain, that the city of Nashville loves music, and they see someone like yourself and just hear the voice and willing to give you a listen, and afterwards say, I like your music. I like what how you present yourself, and that's saying something, and it's the whole music thing, performing in front of an audience, it ain't for everybody.
No,
You
definitely
know,
not.
and for you coming from an acting background, performing in front of people, and being able to make that transition into music and just seeing how far you've come since then, you definitely have made strides. And I feel like from what I've seen in Lexington, seeing you perform, you definitely have a very good command for the audience, and people really like what they hear from you. And you're well on your way to many more good things, I truly believe. I mean, you got a tour going on right now. You're all over the country for the most
Yeah.
part. So let's get into this tour. You've been doing a lot of traveling here and there. How has the tour been for you so far, and what are some of your favorite moments?
The tour is great. So about a year ago, I switched over to just being a full-time touring musician as opposed to being mostly in Nashville and, working some kind of side jobs and stuff like that. So I've been pretty solidly on the road for almost a year now. And I mean, I really enjoy it. It definitely gets tiring, like being on the road that much can be a pretty exhausting thing, but it's just a really nice feeling to be in a completely new city and to have people that have never heard you come out to see you play and enjoy themselves there. And, you obviously see and experience a lot of really cool things. I played a show in Boise back in late June, and I had stopped through Boise once on a road trip and, was there very briefly, but on this last time through when I was playing a show there, I just had the best experience. I met some really wonderful people, and it was just such a cool city, and, who would have, I'm a kid from Jersey who moved to Nashville, it never would have occurred to me that Boise, Idaho was kind of the place to be, but it was a really cool place, and, because I'm on the road so much, I get to experience things like that.
That is truly amazing. And what I respect about an artist like yourself is that although Nashville is a big place for music and there's a lot of opportunities here and there, you are willing to travel outside of Nashville and see what else is out there and expand your fan base that way. And you're getting people from all over the country listening to your music from all areas, and that's pretty cool. And seeing you in Lexington, I've heard of you through Reverb Nation. I like to check out live music. I support local music. I support independent music as well, and I like when visitors like yourself come to Lexington and perform, and it sounded very good. During your set in Lexington, you had an interesting story about some woman yelling while you was talking about Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
Please talk a little bit about that story. I think something about where he's originally from or something like that.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. So as I mentioned, I'm from New Jersey. Bruce Springsteen's from New Jersey. It's like a huge deal there. We all love him. And I was playing a show in Indiana, and I every now and then will play a Bruce Springsteen song in my set. And so I went to introduce that song, and I was saying, I'm from New Jersey. We all love Bruce Springsteen, so I'm going to go ahead and play your Bruce Springsteen song. And this woman starts yelling something at me from the crowd. It was in a restaurant, so she's yelling it over the din of the restaurant at me. I can't really hear what she's saying, so I keep saying, I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? And finally, I lean close enough to her, and she yells loud enough to me that I hear her saying, Bruce Springsteen is from Indiana. And it just caught me so off guard that for a split second I was like, wait, really? And, then I had to think to myself, no, wait, he is from New Jersey. That he is from New Jersey. But she kept saying it. She was like, no, he is. He's from Indiana. And finally I just kind of laughed, and I was like, okay, no. And I started the song, and as I was singing the song, I could see her kind of furiously checking her phone. I could tell that she was looking up his Wikipedia page. And then before I even got to the end of the song, she just kind of like sheepishly put her phone away and gathered her things and ran out of the restaurant before I could finish the song, and she would have to face me with her, mistake.
That is one of the best stories I've ever heard. I mean, she just tried so hard to convince you that this legendary musician is from Indiana, and and just because you check on Wikipedia doesn't mean that every single thing is accurate.
Right, yeah.
So Wikipedia could be helpful, but don't read every single thing that's out there. There's people editing things there like every single day. It's one thing that leads to another, and I'm glad that you shared that story. He is from New Jersey, people. You just gonna you're just gonna have to live with that reality. But he's a great musician, regardless of where he's from. But he is from New Jersey, so I'm glad that you told that story. That was very that had to be heard for the
it was a good one, tour highlight.
So truly a highlight for sure. I want to talk about this latest record that you put out, and it's definitely a heartfelt record that you worked on. It's about family. Why don't you go ahead and talk about that record and how it came to be?
Sure, yeah. So my most recent album is an album called Kane, Kane, and it's actually my grandmother's maiden name. And when I first moved to Nashville, I had maybe 5 songs to my name that I had written, and so I kind of realized, well, I need more material. So I just kind of locked myself in my room one day, and I was trying to think of different songs I could write and different ideas. And I came up with the idea to write a song cycle about my grandmother and 3 of her siblings. And I kind of just threw it all down on paper. And there were some of her siblings that I didn't really know that much about, so I just kind of used what I did know about the family and tried to fill in the blanks that way. But what resulted from it is the album Kane, and it's my grandmother, her sister Winnie, her sister Grace, and her brother Billy. So there's a song titled after each of them. I really enjoyed being able to kind of tell the story. I enjoyed being able to, it's kind of like a commentary on the oral tradition. I knew a lot about my grandmother because my family members had talked about her to me, and I knew a lot about my Aunt Winnie because my family members had talked to me about her. But I didn't know so much about the other 2, and so I thought it was a really interesting way to kind of delve into that idea of we keep the people alive that we want to, we pass on what's important to us. And so I thought that was kind of interesting. So it's just a pretty stripped down presentation of all of the songs. I didn't want anything to get in the way of the stories I was telling.
Very, very heartfelt that you went this route as it pertains to this record. And as a music listener, it's always appealing when an artist is willing to open up like that and shows a variety of themselves, vulnerable sides as well. And I did purchase that EP. I did give it a listen to Spotify. I am quite the Spotify addict at this point. I listen to other platforms, but Spotify is my go-to music platform right now. But I did purchase the EP. It is a lovely record, and congrats on the release and the good press that you've gotten from it. It is available on all digital music platforms, and while she's on tour, she's got copies of the record, and this woman is traveling all over the place. So while you enjoy Lucy's music and the personality and everything, go buy yourself a copy of the EP. Show your love, show your support, support your local musicians, support independent musicians as well. She's traveling, no record labels, no companies backing her. She's doing this all on her own, and she's giving all she's got. So just go out and support Lucy. She's awesome.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
And as for upcoming shows, why don't you go ahead and promote the upcoming shows you have that the people out there need to keep an eye on?
Yeah, sure. So next weekend I'm playing 3 shows in a row in Tennessee, various parts of Tennessee. So I'll be in Franklin, Tennessee on August 2nd. I'll be in Crossville, Tennessee on August 3rd. And I'll be in Chattanooga, Tennessee on August 4th. And then at the end of the month, I'll be up in the Midwest. So I'm playing a show in St. Louis and then in Mount Vernon, Iowa. I mean, the list goes on and on from there. But you can check out my website, LucyIsabelMusic.com, and you can find all my tour dates there and all that jazz.
And you can also check out all the social media feeds that's on there, all her old music to her present music, and go check her out. She's traveling all over the place, y'all. And Lucy, it was great chatting with you, and it was great to also meet you at Lexington at the Talon Winery. Thank you so much for your time. Continued success, and have a great remainder of the tour, and hopefully you'll come back to Lexington in the future.
Yeah, sure thing.
So thank you everyone for tuning in and listening. This is another interview courtesy of Chilling with Jeff and Kenny C on your Saturday nights 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern on tmvcafe.com. And oh yeah, good news, 11-year anniversary coming up on the 18th of August. 2-hour show. All former guests is going, well, maybe not all of them, but majority of them are going to be there to call in. So go check that out. This will conclude the interview. And for Lucy, I'm Kenny signing out. You all enjoy the rest of your day / evening, whatever time zone you happen to be in. Take care, all.